Welcome to Fundayz Sports, episode 9, coming to you live here in downtown Onida, South Dakota, in the famous Blue Goose Sports Bar. Pub.
P-U-B.
Sorry, Pub. Sports Pub. And you can also find one when you're in Volga, South Dakota. It's the Blue Goose 2.
Brand new, right?
Brand new, 5 months going, yeah. 5 miles west on Highway 14 in Brookings, right downtown, 2 blocks down Main Street. It's a happening spot. It's going to be, we're really excited about the traffic and the people that have come out to support it. And it's not quite like the original here that we're sitting in, but it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So how many people in Volga?
Move your mic closer to your mouth there.
There are 2,500 people in Volga.
Okay.
It's really expanding. You know, beautiful 9-hole golf course there. Great school. Their athletics are
top notch.
Very top notch in athletics. Their cheer and dance has won more state championships than anybody in the state, which is it's pretty cool. But their basketball, football, they got a really strong baseball program. But yeah, all of their athletic teams are cool. I mean, are very successful, and that's one of the reasons. I knew a bunch of the coaches over there.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I was like, you know, when I started looking to do another Blue Goose and finding a partner for over there and stuff, and I was like, Volga, 5 miles from Brookings, college kids who like to drink beer.
Yep.
Shout out Jax.
On Highway 14, great sports town. Found a really cool old bank building with the vault in the corner and the old tin ceiling. It's pretty cool. We got the big TV in the floor. You walk in and it's got the TV cut into the floor, and people like that.
An homage to the original, right?
Yep. That's something we had to do to match up with the Onida spot here too. So.
Well, it's great to hear. Awesome that you're growing and developing it too. Just in an area that's rich in sports culture. I love hearing that they have a good baseball team.
Yeah, they got a really strong baseball team there too. So, yeah, the golf course they're expanding really rapid. And I think, you know, people would rather live in a smaller town. Their kids can play at a A-level school, probably get a better opportunity for athletics and you know, taxes and things are. The city was really awesome to work with. They wanted us to come, and it was So yeah, we're gonna pour a big beer garden out back. We're gonna pour concrete next week.
Hell
yeah! So we're looking for SDSU games, you know, pre-gaming, maybe have a band at 8 in the morning, you know, do some kind of things like that, you know.
Oh, we're talking.
Fundayz Sports Saturday.
Yeah, so just kind of mix it up, but hunting and fishing is huge over there too. You know, it's just a great area, so.
Very cool.
Well, with all the jerseys you got hanging through this place,
God, you're not kidding.
Do you have a Volga jersey? Or what is their high school? Is it a
Sioux Valley High
School? Sioux Valley. Okay.
Valley High School.
Learn something new every day.
And we do not have a Cossacks in here, which I do have a Sully Buttes ones over there, but we kind of wanted to make it an SDSU Sioux Valley atmosphere, you know, over there, and just to honor the people that we know are going to be our supporters. But yeah, we probably do need to, you know, we have people bringing stuff in all the time. Last week I got home from work, stopped in about 6 o'clock, and this guy and his wife were here from Britain. They had drove from Britain to come down and see the Onida Blue Goose. I'm like, for what reason was that? And they're like, we saw it on the PBS special and we wanted to run down and see it. We've heard so much about it. And people really like the history on the walls and
it truly is an awesome place. What'd you say this building used to be?
So Lonnie LaFave, Onida businessman for 45 plus years, had a washer, dryer, TVs, stoves, refrigerators, fixed vacuum cleaners, radios. He was in here for forever, and my office was right next door, and I had built a great relationship with Lonnie, and when he went to retire, he said, would you like to buy it? And I said, well, yeah. So we bought it, and I went home and I said to my wife, I'd like to put a little bar in there. And she's like, I thought, zero chance this is going to happen, but she said, yeah, we should make it non-smoking. Well, this was the first non-smoking bar in South Dakota.
Oh, bless your heart.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, a trailblazer.
Yeah, we were blazing trails, but but literally no blazing was going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you have when you were deciding to buy this, did you already have that in mind that
I was just like, I'm going to buy the building. I owned the building next to it. And so it was like, no, let's just, own the property. And so, and so we bought it, and then I went to the city council and kind of threw it out. I didn't think they would let us, I didn't know. We had the fireside on the highway, and Mary Jo's or Brewster's was across the street. But people, we were open 2 days a week to start. And then we went 3 days, and we went 4 days. Now we're 6 days a week, and so it kind of took off. People grasped it, and then we built out in the back and put our beer garden out back and our stage, and we have bands during the fair. And
the only live music in Sully County that I can find most of the time, outside of the Agar Rodeo. Don't forget.
Well, and I like it coming from a small town. Like most of these old buildings in small towns, they just get tore down.
Yeah.
And they're done. And then people just talk about, like, hey, what used to be in that lot? Well, you don't got to worry about it now, because Blue Goose is going to be here till the end of time.
Well, or until it falls in, one of the two.
Oh, hell.
That's fair.
Sometimes we wonder, I mean, we might get a heavy rainstorm, and you might get a free shower here and there, but no, it's been good. We try to, do some little updates. I ordered chairs at the bar. The guys were complaining that Volga got all this new furniture and stuff, so I had to order new bar chairs for the regulars up at the bar. So that'll be nice.
Did they get their name engraved?
No engraving. I mean, they usually do that when you're not watching anyway.
That's fair enough. Not on the new stuff, guys.
Yeah.
But it is really neat, because if you grew up in South Dakota playing any high school sports, like, you can walk through here and see something of your era that you played against, or a team that you knew that had somebody on it.
And nationwide, because a lot of the same equipment, I mean, it's gotten more this way, but like, you see stuff and it's really similar to, like, even me growing up in Dallas and then in the San Diego area. It's something that I can relate to.
It's just a neat deal.
100%.
I just like this main wall here in the front room that 90% of the schools that are on that wall are no longer actually a school anymore.
Those were all Clark's jerseys. He was in the transfer portal quite a little.
No, nobody wanted me on their squad. It was I shot too much.
I think my favorite part, we don't have it on camera, but in the back, the helmet collection, just from all the different years, all the different decades, from all around the country, not only South Dakota. I think there's a Seahawks helmet back there.
Those all back there are actually all South Dakota helmets.
Okay.
That was
Canton Seahawks.
Canton.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but we have some leather ones. We have some, there's a we call them the polio helmets, where the ears came out.
Kind of.
It says Selby Lions on it. That's when my dad was coaching in Selby in the 70s. But we have some nice leather helmets and stuff. We got a lot of really nice old vintage stuff in Volga too that we put up over there. So,
do you got a scoreboard hanging up down there?
We have one scoreboard. Yeah, no, we have two actually.
Oh, really?
We have one with the dial, and we got one out of Newell High School.
Oh,
Newell.
Yeah.
Newell.
Nice.
Yep. Friedel, my buddy from college, he used to coach out in Sturgis. And he was from there, and he put it on Bookface. We call it Bookface in our
Bookface?
house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out Jim Halpert.
And and I texted him right away, and I said, hey, I need to get that, and that's actually hanging in Volga. So we're always on the prowl. People are bringing stuff in, and we got to open in Volga, and the guy brought in the old Legion wool jerseys from the 50s.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they've brought in, people want, I had a guy from Bath travel down here about 6 months ago with his warm-up jacket, and he was 83 years old.
Really?
And the shorts, jersey, and the pants, the whole...
He had the whole thing.
He had the whole thing, and I have not... Well, we don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to have to...
Build on.
Kind of take something down and switch it up a little bit, so...
Time to extend her, right?
No, this is the last extender.
This is the last.
The extension was Volga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have plans of going worldwide, so we're still...
You heard it here first.
Blue Goose International,
Yeah,
huh?
Blue Goose worldwide.
What country are you thinking? What first country are you thinking for your international?
Say Amsterdam.
Well, we're just going to stick Sully County for now, I think.
Oh.
Okay.
So.
I was wondering if like Korea.
We do have some listeners in Seoul, South Korea.
Yeah, we do.
We got some.
How would the Dollar Bush Lights go over on Thursday night?
Oh, they would lose their minds.
I've heard that they've just been waiting for Dollar Bush Light Night over in
So
South
many
Korea.
Korean businessmen losing their minds.
How much
That's
money?
a Blue Goose.
How much money do you think you could make if you smuggled a case of Bush apples into South Korea?
Probably a little bit. Gray Zabel's got a pallet in his garage right now. But
Well, we could start with for free,
Yep.
so it would all be profit.
Yeah.
Well,
Shout out, thanks Gray for supporting our business ideas.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the local fire departments yesterday. He
Yep.
was out there playing in the tournament. You were actually there. You were on ESPN, Clark.
We were at the Zabel residence. We made the list. Tana called me and said, Grace said we'd like you and Patty to be there for the draft night, and I'm a softie. I actually started crying on the phone because I love that stuff, and it was very emotional to be a part of it and to be standing when the phone call comes in and you're watching it on TV. And
I bet you could have heard a pin drop when that phone call came.
It got pretty quiet, and then it got pretty loud.
Yep.
So, and the party went long, so
Yep.
I had to work the next day, and it wasn't the best work.
Wasn't a fun time?
productivity day. No,
Yeah.
but
No, but you still showed up. You still
showed
did
up.
it.
No, and I said the same thing. Like,
showed up.
I don't think like the people in, I don't think a lot of people in Pierre or like even our surrounding areas grasp how huge that moment was for not just Gray and the Zabels, but for every kid in the small town era that, you know, like this can happen to anybody.
yeah.
It's just not a big. It's just not a big city thing.
Well, and then the next night, they had the deal at the Larkspur up there, and there were 500 plus, 600-700 people there. I mean, excuse me, it just shows you how much he means to the community and his family, and how grounded they are. I mean, his parents are just so humble, and Mark and I grew up in Selby together, and Mark's brother Matt and I were best friends growing up, and still are today. But Tana and I were, turned 21 the same day in Aberdeen in college, and
nice.
So that's another story. That was, but
I can imagine it. Northern.
Been really good friends with them for a long time. Our kids played sports together. I got a great Gray story. We had Christian Leitner, who comes out hunting with us every year out here at Paul Nelson.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've become buddies with Christian, and Alan Bertram started bringing him back for camps and things.
Yep.
So Gray and my son Quinn were probably in 5th grade. So we go down to winter for the camp, and Peyton and Lincoln are the older Zabel and older Georgie brothers were at the different, the young guys went first, the old guys went second. And after camp, we loaded up, and I said, okay, we're going through McDonald's. And so we pull up and said, what does everybody want? Gray hollers from the back seat, I want 6 McDoubles, 6 McChickens, 3 large fries, a shake, and a Dr. Pepper.
That's $100 on today's McDonald's menu. Back
I
in the
said,
day.
Gray, you are not getting 12 sandwiches. Well, it's only they're $1 a piece on the McValue. You know, I said,
That's such a fucking ridiculous order, dude.
I said, I don't care if they're $1 or not. You're not getting 12 sandwiches.
He's like, the value, though.
And he goes, well, how many can I get? And I said, well, how many are you going to eat? Well, I'd eat 12 if you lost. The kid's in fucking 5th grade. So I got him 3 chickens, 3 burgers, fries. We didn't hit the winter city limit sign going out of town, and he had polished it off.
That's not very far either.
Yeah.
No.
I called Mark, his dad. I said, do you want to know what Gray just did?
It was impressive.
And he's like, well, he just ate 2 foot-long subs for lunch yesterday.
Holy shit.
And didn't blink an eye. So, yeah, Gray's...
He's got an appetite, too.
He can throw it in, yeah.
Yeah, he's a decent-sized guy.
Yeah, I met him the other day. He's actually one of the nicest dudes.
He's so grounded.
Just genuinely a nice guy.
I mean, like...
Yeah, that was the best way that I could say it. Just a grounded individual and human being. Like, he's...
Well, like, they were here last night at the Goose after the Sutton Bay golf deal, and and there's just locals just talking with him like, you know, they've known him all his life, you know. And,
yeah.
And
that's the thing. He'll take the time and actually talk to him too.
Yeah, and you know, remembering their name and just we were coming from Agar from supper, Patty and I, and he says, "Get your ass to the Goose, or I'm going to wrestle you at the courthouse yard."
Oh, I wish you'd have went with the wrestling option.
So I said, "We'll be there quick."
We'll be there.
World star.
Do you think you would?
Great people, great, you know, and his brother, you know, we're sitting at the party that night, and Peyton, his brother, is 6'6", 6'7", and NDSU's coach is sitting there, and he says to me, "I know he could play for me right now as a tight end."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he would have, you know, he was a pitcher, got drafted, and was playing at Augie. He was a quarterback, but if he would have went and just said, "Hey, I'm going to be a tight end," you know, they got these hybrid tight ends now, Kraft, and these guys that are just athletic. They're not
from the
big,
Midwest.
bulky tight ends anymore. You know?
Yeah, that role has definitely changed over the years.
I feel like ever since Antonio Gates, like, the entire stance on what a tight end should be has really kind of shifted.
Yeah.
Shout out Jason Witten.
I was going to say, I was thinking Jason
but
Witten.
I think the game has changed quite a bit from the Jason Witten era of getting open and going.
They're almost like a slot receiver anymore.
Yeah, your tight ends are 6'5", 260, but they got the speed of
they're
a
quick
receiver.
guys.
Yeah, Darren Waller. It's why Kyle Pitts was going in the top 10 picks of the NFL.
Still waiting for him to come out there.
Well, I was.
He's screwed me a couple years on fantasy.
God, I drafted him 4 years straight. I don't want to talk about.
Ouch.
Why did I bring up Kyle Pitts? It's almost as bad as bringing up the.
Don't fucking say it.
Being a Dallas Cowboys fan?
That's cute. Why don't you worry about your creamsicles?
Hey.
You know, but here's getting back to that.
Yeah, point of order.
The little Zabel, Jetty, he's a redshirt freshman at NDSU. He's going to have huge upswing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 years this whole thing's getting repeated again.
Yeah.
He's got the pedigree. He's got, you know, and Mark says this guy likes to hit. He's all business when he's on the field. He loves contact, and you know, I mean, his senior year, he's playing wide out, and then it would get down to be 3rd and 16, and they'd bring him in to play quarterback, and they'd run an option around the corner. You know, I mean, he was just so.
Like his senior year, he just looked like a man playing some boys out in the field. But you know, for him, he's going to be like a Tucker Kraft kid that catches the ball, and he's going to get you the tough yards that you're going to need.
Are we looking at Travis and Jason Kelsey 2.0?
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
At least South Dakota zone. I mean,
you never know. I mean, it's just so cool with, you know, my son Quinn was bartending in Volga the other night. Mason McCormick's in there, you know, with a bunch of the SDSU guys.
Yeah.
and it was Busch Light Night over there, so I think it was popular with the guys, you know. But Tucker, you know, being a Timberlake kid, you know, my boys played against him, you know, regular season and Lincoln's senior year, we played them in the state tournament, you know.
Yep.
And just to have kids that we know now hitting the NFL
It's
and
pretty
having success
yeah,
is just
it's
unbelievable.
nuts.
Yeah.
And it's Tucker's dad unfortunately got killed, but he was a freak athlete himself, like stud.
Yeah.
Well, and his cousin played at Northern. Was, you know, he was
the little running back.
Yeah, I mean, just a stud.
Hank. This kid's like what, 5'7", and he would just dunk in high school basketball games.
Yeah.
He was athletic. Oh yeah.
Go up and do a reverse dunk at 5'7", 5'8", and off 2 feet, just pow. You know?
When you see those type of athletes when you're in high school, like there's a very decisive difference. I want to shout out my left tackle from high school, Adam Butler. Ended up playing nose tackle. He went to Vanderbilt initially on a full ride. Made All-American there. Did a really great job. And then Bill Belichick converted him into a defensive tackle.
What a douche.
Yeah, I know, right? So Adam Butler now plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. Got a nice little sweet contract to go there. He's got one Super Bowl ring. His one Super Bowl ring is when the Falcons were leading 28-3.
That fucking game.
Shout out to Tom Brady.
Well, did you see what Brady said about the kid from NDSU?
Oh, Cam Miller?
Cam Miller?
Yeah.
That he didn't get involved in the draft, but I'm projecting big things from this kid at the Raiders.
Yep.
So that's, I mean, there you go. There's another one that's just, but, you know, that kid, they interviewed him before, I don't know what game it was, but he said that if they match up with SDSU and he said, I hate SDSU. You know, he just came out and said that right on camera, you know, and you know, there's no love lost between those two programs, of course, but
sure. I feel like that's a better rivalry than Texas A&M right now.
It's huge.
Just because, I mean, all that time from A&M being in the SEC and then Texas still hanging in the Big 12, now they're trying to rekindle it. But, I mean, it's, of all the rivalry games, I really see a lot of SDSU, NDSU that can go toe-to-toe with.
Oh, yeah. There's been fights in the
Bama,
bar about
Auburn.
that shit.
Well, then it helps, too, because SDSU and NDSU are on the top tier of 1AA football, so you got the rest of the country trying to chase them, too. And
it's a lot of Northern Iron Bowl kind of vibes.
Well, how far apart are they?
You're 3 hours.
3 hours.
I mean, straight up the interstate.
Straight up. Yeah. So.
Widowy. Straight up the interstate.
Literally. But I don't know. Shout out SDSU though. I mean.
Oh, what a following! I mean, it's so great for SDSU right now. Their women's and men's basketball having success. You know, their football program is ultra successful. The NIL deal is just screwing everything up, though. Oof. I mean, there are people leaving, coming, going. You know, and I mean, it's just so hard to. You know, my buddy Paul Sather, who was at Northern, you know, and at UND, well, that Lance Eaglestaff's leaving.
Yep.
You know, and you work so hard to get kids like that there and develop them.
Yep.
We talked about this the other day.
We did quite a bit.
We did, because I said if you're a great athlete and you're not going to where you think you're going to go, like your NDSUs, your SDSUs, or like your UNDs, like for Trayson, I feel like if they come in and rob you of this kid, I mean, technically they don't rob you, but offer this kid more money than you could come up with, sure. I think there should be some compensation back towards that school.
That makes sense.
For just robbing this kid. You know, you put the time into it, you put the effort into getting this kid to your school, working with him throughout the whole summer, and getting him through a basketball season, and just to leave, because I mean you probably know this better. Like, how many kids across North Dakota and South Dakota go unnoticed because they don't make a state tournament, or they, that could be potentially great basketball players. But I just think if you go to these smaller schools and you pick up huge money, and that was a big thing for Gray, man. He turned down, what, 6 figures?
It was a lot of money.
A lot of money to go, and he stuck it out with his brothers that he started with, and they got it done again. So, I mean, but it would also be hard. You get offered a couple $1 million and you're a kid, like, loyalty can really go out the window real fast with a bunch of money.
Well,
That's the
and
tough part.
I think that's part of the reason Gray jumped. I mean, they saw him at the prospect, at the Senior Bowl, Reese's Senior Bowl.
Reese's Senior Bowl.
And he went up, and then you go to the combine, and these guys start all of a sudden looking into him and saying, why is this, where's this kid been? Well,
it shows, like you're talking there, like loyalty shows a big fucking thing anymore.
Well, and you look at, there's 4 or 5 guys that, is there 5 or 6 NDSU linemen that are in the NFL right now?
Yeah.
The center at the Seahawks right now was Gray's roommate at NDSU 2 years ago.
All right.
So Gray's going to be playing with his roommate at the Seahawks.
That's already an added feature right there.
I mean, I didn't know that until the day after the draft. But so he's going to be playing next to his teammates. So
yeah, that's huge when you already know what that guy's already kind of thinking, especially on a line standpoint.
Especially in the NFL, I think that's the one place where it's like you really have your rookie contract to kind of decide where the next portion of your career is going to go. You can draw it out further from that point, but to have that camaraderie and that familiarity with a guard and a center just being able to transfer out and move through together.
That's huge.
So, is he going to play guard or tackle?
I don't know where they've. I think left side, is where his strong point is. But when you can plug him into all 5 of those positions, nobody else can do that.
Especially at his size. I mean, his comp would be like Joe Ald, who was straight to the Chargers. Top 5 the season prior.
Hell of a lineman.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about earlier, I don't think if that run of defensive tackles was going ahead of him, I don't think we would have seen him drop 217.
Yeah, that's what he was kind of telling me, was once the D tackles waterfall started going, that's when teams kind of abandoned their plans and just went D tackle, then took what they can get.
The Lions really wanted him bad.
Yep. He said the Dolphins were looking at him pretty hard, and that warmed my heart because I'm like, at least we looked at him. I'd love to see him
the
actually
Cowboys
be on
at
the
12,
team.
for me personally, for selfish reasons, I was really hoping.
That was a better flight for us.
A guy who's familiar with playing and practicing in Frisco, Texas.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is Rapid has a direct flight to Seattle.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So Wednesday,
Gonna have some frequent flyer miles.
Rapid City's gonna get some business.
Wednesday, when the schedule comes out, I think there's going to be some
flights booked, and
but like they play in Nashville this year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's an easy Sioux Falls trip.
Yeah.
So
that's what I liked about Miami playing in Denver the one year. It was Pier to Denver. It was a 45-minute flight, and I was there. It was awesome. I got to watch my Dolphins lose.
If anybody that owns an airline is listening, if you'd like to get a flight from either Rapid or Sioux Falls straight to Dallas, that would be awesome. Selfish reasons. And you'd make a killing. Even Bismarck.
Yeah.
You can make a killing.
Hey, if you miss your flight in Phoenix, when you fly Allegiant, you can catch the Bismarck one. Someone just has to drive to Bismarck and get you.
It's closer from here to Bismarck than it is to Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thinks about, I'll fly out of Bismarck,
I've flown out of there before. It's pretty simple. I like it.
And then Bismarck, I like Bismarck as a town better than I do Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Sioux Falls. It's a little bit more dangerous. Yeah, there's that little element. little element of danger.
That's why I love small town South Dakota.
And we're okay.
Yeah.
I do
He's
have
got like gangs and shit.
Like straight
Sioux
affiliations.
Falls has gangs, I'm guessing.
No, but like
The police department will tell you.
the cartel has like stations in Dallas.
It's nice.
It's a great change of pace.
I do want to switch it up a little bit though, and
What you got?
well, I want that. What was your most recent present to the Blue Goose?
Oh, yeah.
What treasure did you get?
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I had a call and they said, "Hey, there's a guy down here who wants to talk to you." So I run down and I come in. He was the assistant coach of the Herald Cardinals '92 state tournament team.
Hell yes.
Legendary team.
The legendary game in Aberdeen, and he had his jacket with the deal on the back, '92 state champs, Herald Cardinals, and then Cardinals across the front. I think his name's on it. We haven't put it up yet, but and then the T-shirt that the team all got with all the players on there. And he said, "It's just been sitting in my closet for all these years. I was told this is the place for it," and so that's the kind of cool stuff we get to do is put that kind of stuff up in here because people want it to be recognized.
Well, yeah, it's history for one.
Yeah, share it with more people. That's like, I know it's a sports pub, but to me it's almost like a South Dakota Sports Museum.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at when you come in here. It's pretty
An
awesome.
homage top to bottom of just what all this state has to offer and like all different aspects of athletics. And before the days of like huddle and social media being able to put your highlight video out there, I feel like there were so many athletes throughout a time that may not have gotten recognized that actually wore these jerseys.
No.
Yeah.
It was the '92 state championship game against Herald Cardinals and the perennial powerhouse Warner Monarchs. They, I just looked at the book here that I happen to have a picture of the state title game, and
Nerd.
well,
Just kidding.
I mean, so I think I can't remember what they won. I can't remember what they won by. But Lappy was it 4 points? I think they won by or something. But Lappy was 12 of 12 from the free throw line that night.
Wow.
You know, and he scores 40. And waited. What did he tell me? I got to visit with him here a month or so ago, and he said they were just ready to make a state tournament, but they just kept running into a buzzsaw because of their region, and they couldn't get past. I think it was Northwestern and the Bucklehide boys. And he said, so they were battle tested, so when they got there, he said they had to perform. And they did perform because I think the seating capacity in the Walks Arena is right around 8,000, I think. And I imagine there was about 9,400 people in there that night. Like, it was packed. I mean, it was standing room.
I could walk you to my seat I was in, and I think, well, my fat ass wouldn't fit in that seat today, the same area. But I mean, it was hip to hip. Walking through the wilderness, talking hip to hip. No, I mean it was just smashed. It was just so much fun. I mean, it's that place has got great memories. You know, I went to college there, and just all the games. Well, then, you know, my two boys were on the 18 Sully Buttes Charger state champs team. You know, that's of course my greatest memory of all times. You know, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're done, and that was an instant classic. Of course, I love it because we got what we worked for.
Yep.
The kids worked for, but Dad drove a lot of miles for that. But
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
but you know, we were down 10, the end of 3, and go up 20 or go up 10 with a minute 7 to go or something like that.
Jeez.
And as a South Dakota kid, and especially if you're in the B class, I mean, like, that Walks Arena is like, I don't know, like it just does something to you. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to end it there. And it's an atmosphere that I don't think, I get there's other state tournaments, and I mean there's other states that are gonna be like, hey, our state tournament's the best. But man, like I'll put the state B tournament up against pretty much any other state tournament because you run into people, and Aberdeen's not a huge town, so if your team does go on Cinderella, it's tough getting motel rooms there if you don't have them booked out a year in advance. Because you'll run into people that are like, hey, who are you cheering for? And they're like, nobody. Just been here since '84, and we don't miss these things.
Yeah, people go to go.
They want it in Sioux Falls, all of it down there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no.
And they don't even know.
Sorry, Denny.
They don't know that it's even, you go in there, and if they had all three of them down there, would it affect their, ecosystem at all? No.
Right.
No.
In their
you go to Aberdeen, it's there.
It's a big
you got
thing.
people from everywhere in the state going to Aberdeen.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody comes.
in a centralized location.
And if it was in Sioux Falls, none of this upper northwest region would drive all the way down there.
No.
And, the greatest thing was one year they had volleyball down in Sioux Falls. And this is just, I get it, but we had a basketball tournament in Huron. And you went there, and girls state B's at Huron. We love that.
Yeah.
Because we got 4 of them there. I mean, Coach Sefner won us 4 championships along with some awesome, talented girls. I mean, we had some great teams, but a pop was $1.50, and a popcorn was $1, and then you go to Sioux Falls for the state volleyball tournament, and popcorn was $8, and a pop was $8, and
I spent $75 on a long sleeve shirt to commemorate the state championship. And that was close enough.
Vermilion?
Yeah, Vermilion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like there's something to the art of being able to afford a ticket to go to the game, and then have your concessions while you're inside.
Well, and and now, I don't know if Denny, I know Rapid switched once I built the monument, but everything had to be credit card, and then you got these little kids running around, these state tournaments, I'm just not going to give my kid my credit card because I gave him a $100 bill once at the state softball tournament, and
how'd that turn out for you?
He come back and he spent the $100 bill because he told me he had some extra change that he had the lady said he could spend, So I mean, Aberdeen's just a nostalgia place for basketball in South Dakota. I mean, Huron is a great place. Terrible place to try to get a room, but for the kids that are playing in it, that you can get dressed in your motel room, walk right into the arena, and go play basketball. That's big.
And you're just sitting on top of the floor. It's just it's just so cool to sit in the old Aberdeen Civic Arena when my brother was playing at Northern. They're built exactly the same, and that bowl around, but you're just looking straight down, and just awesome. And they're built at the same time, but you got to hold more people now. Like the Pentagon is one of the coolest basketball facilities in the state.
Yeah.
But it holds 2,000 people or 2,200 or whatever. You can't get. They have those big games there.
Doesn't have the capacity for it.
And they sell out immediately. Where if that would be in the Denny, a lot more people could watch them. But
yeah, the Huron Arena I just checked was construction started in 1950 and wrapped up in 52. And it does give you the nostalgia, because when you're up in that upper, it's a tight squeeze cutting up those stairs, and it is a neat place. It's just hard to facilitate the people that are coming to a state tournament.
We have a picture. My uncle Terry George, they played for Corona, and they played Crespard in the 54 state championship or something. But we have a picture, and it's from the rafters of the Huron Arena, and it's coming down onto the floor and the section, my dad was 2 years older than my uncle, and we found my dad and his parents sitting in the crowd in this picture.
No shit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But that's how far back that history goes on basketball. You know, Bob Swanhorst from Crestbard. I mean, people talk about him being one of the greatest to ever play. But yeah, way back then, that's been a long time ago. You know, that they've been playing tournaments in there. But that was one of the big facilities at the time.
Oh man,
Goosebumps. Yeah. Well, that's what, when you said the big facility, this year my boy, Kelby, got to play in Draper. And, of course, these kids are not used to this. You know, it's got I think the maybe 3 high bleachers on both sides, and then it's got the upstairs that circles it. I think there was 2 seats up there, and those kids were talking to some old guy there, and they're like, well, that's crazy. At least you don't play high school games here. And that old guy goes, the crazy part is we used to hold all the tournaments because we had the biggest gym that was around the area at the time. You know, and it just you know, and these kids don't understand, you know, because they get to grow up in perfectly lit facilities and wood floors. And
well, have you been in the city auto over here?
I haven't.
So that used to be our high school gym, you know. I mean, the out-of-bounds line is this far from the wall.
No shit.
I mean, and that's where they played the game, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the stage was packed, and they had a little overhang deal on the other end, and, I mean, kids were tucked in under people's legs in their chairs, and, I mean, of course, I wasn't here, but they talk about all the big Agar Onida games and how you'd have to get there early just to get in. But people didn't travel like they do now, you know.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of had to celebrate your hometowns more that way, I guess. But like I feel like you were talking the Agar Oneida rivalry, like those small towns like that, those rivalries is what fueled those guys for years on that stuff. But it's I don't know where I was really going with that, but it was really a cool story. I like that.
Well, when I was in high school in Selby, Harriet was our biggest competitor, you know. Yep. And I wouldn't go up to Harriet on weekends because I was going to get my ass kicked. You know? Yeah. And well deserved, of course. But when they joined Harriet Selby as a co-op, I mean, 30 years ago we said there was no possible way that could ever happen.
Yeah.
Same way with Agar Oneida, you know. Yeah. Back in the day, no way were they ever going to join. And Hovind, Gettysburg, all these,
same thing,
Highmore Herald, no way back in the day were they.
No.
But.
You know, because Eric even talked about that. They tried to rob a kid from Highmore his senior year, you know, and he's like, that kid's like, I just can't go to Herald, you know. I mean, the same way Faith Dupree, like, you weren't. There's no way. Like, you were up for that game. I don't care if you had a broken leg. You were going to get in that game.
Yeah, going to make it happen.
But I think that's a big part of our South Dakota, these small communities, why, like, especially basketball is so big of a following, because it happens during the winter. You know, 90% of us are ranchers and farmers, so we got our winters kind of our super slow time, and it gives you something to do, look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that a couple of episodes ago, kind of talking about like why there's not more baseball in the area. And it makes a lot of sense.
Distance.
Just during the timing.
Yeah.
Distance and timing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would probably have some small schools that would have hellacious baseball teams, but the problem is the track coach always wins, and they don't want to lose kids to track. It's like a lot of these littler schools don't have golf, because if you have golf, then you lose your best athlete that needs to be on the track team to golf.
Yeah, that's fair. Shout out Sully Buttes Golf.
Whew. Yeah.
Got a picture of the Byram boys in here.
Yep. All golfing legends right there.
And Dana Dykehouse.
Dykehouse.
Yeah.
Who else is in that
football with the Byrams and
Sutton boys. Yeah.
Sutton boys. You think it was just touch, or do you think they got rough?
Probably tackle.
I got a feeling it was tackle on that one.
There was cow shit on the denims when they got done, I'm sure.
A little bit of blood, a little bit of guts. Nothing wrong with it.
It's one of my favorites of many pictures in here. I mean, it's just like a museum, top to bottom.
What started you though? Like, I mean, like, what was your first piece that you were like, shoot, I can put this on the wall, and then it will just take off from there?
I've just always been an antique collector guy. You know, I got a shop and office full of stuff. I've always been an autograph guy. I have a pretty extensive autograph collection that it's almost like a sickness. But you know, in sporting goods, I always would see these old helmets and stuff in equipment rooms, but a buddy of mine was coaching. Probably my first jersey I just kind of held back was a buddy of mine was coaching in Doland, and
home of the heroes.
The heroes, yeah. And he said, "I'm going to get you a Dolan jersey." And so he pulled what number you want, Clark? And I'm like, well, 33 was my number, so he pulls 33 out, and so I added my stuff, and it's on the wall in the bar, and you know, I just always thought it's a Dolan jersey, you know. And Tim Miles is a really good friend of mine. Was, you know, he was at NDSU and then went to Colorado State, then went to Nebraska. Now he's at San Jose State. When he was at Colorado, he called. He was recruiting Zach Hansen in Pierre, and he flew into Pierre, and he said, "I'm going to go to their practice, and then you and Patty want to, you know, go Cattleman's. We'll have supper." So we go down there and go pick up Tim, and Tim's a character. He's a wildcat, man. He gets some golden lights going, and we're sitting at the Cattleman's, and your chairs are, you know, 2 feet away from another table, and he's F-bombing and pounding the cocktails, and just if you've ever been around him, he's just quite a character. But I said, "Tim, what was your number in high school?" He said, 32, 33. Well, I used to alternate dark and lights, you know.
Yep. So
I text my bartender and I said, "Take a picture of that jersey that's on the wall in the Goose." She texts it back, and I go, "Does this look familiar, Tim?" He's like, "That's my fucking jersey." I said, "Well, you're not getting it back." So,
Too late.
So, I mean, that's kind of been our, you know, our prized possession down here is having Tim's jersey, and then he sends me. I said, "If you want it, I'll frame it and send it to you. That'd be cool to have in your office." It means nothing to me. He said, "I want it. I want you to have it and show it off, you know." And so then every stop he's been, Nebraska, sends me a Nebraska game jersey. To Clark, go Huskers, Tim Miles, and then he sent one 2 years ago at San Jose on one of their game jerseys. He goes, "We had an extra. Instead of throwing it away, I thought you could use it for toilet paper and send it to me." You know? But he's always just been, you know, a really good dude. We went down and went to the Nebraska game when he was down there, and you know, he had us come in with our kids for practice, for shoot around, and he's just a really, really good dude. He's never forgets that he's from Dolan, South Dakota. And
Yep.
Just about every interview he's ever done, he talks about being from Dolan. So
Yeah, that says something right there. Being proud of where you come from, man.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So out of all your collection, who is the most famous person that you've met and got autographed from?
Yeah.
most famous, Joey Lamb and I went up to when Barack was running for president. Bill Clinton was speaking in Aberdeen.
Yep.
And Joey and I went up and I said, "You're never going to get to see a president this close." And it was right on the green in the campus. And we stood from me to you away from him, and he spoke for an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it was so amazing. Democrat, Republican, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. To have a president standing there looking at it. And Joey, when we left, Joey's like, it seemed like he was talking right to me, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody in the place probably thought the same thing, you know.
Sure.
But Yeah, I got a picture. Well, there's a picture over
Yeah, I was
on the
gonna say,
wall
I've seen the picture
of me reaching to put my arm around him, and I was just about to put my arm around him, and it went behind my back. And the guy says, "Don't touch him." But I got a baseball signed by him there. You know, Leitner comes out. He's kind of my guy. I mean, it's.
Not everybody hates Christian
I was
Leitner.
gonna say,
Not
Mark Gardner
everybody
does not hate Christian Leitner.
Well, and he brings a couple buddies with him when he comes hunting. Excuse me. And his one buddy, he brought 3 of his buddies from New York that he grew up with hunting one year.
Yeah.
And the one had the T-shirt, "I still hate Christian Leitner." And so last year, he says, "Will you make me a T-shirt?" Well, I called Kim. On a Sunday, "Can you make me a T-shirt?" And he had me make "I still hate Mitch Gardner" on his shirt, and then he pulled it out for supper one night, you know. But he probably gets sick of me asking him to sign. I got hundreds of things on my wall at home, but I have his game worn rookie jersey from the T-Wolves signed.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I got his '92 Goodwill Games silver medal.
Oh,
He played in
nice.
Seattle in the Goodwill Games.
yeah.
He sold a bunch of his stuff a while back, and so it's just stuff, and
Yep.
it doesn't mean a lot to him, but
Sure.
I've gathered up a few items that are pretty cool. But
Yeah, to people who are
I have Babe Ruth, I have Ty Cobb, I have Jackie Robinson,
Jeez.
DiMaggio.
Could have led with those,
Any-
Clark. Holy.
Any
cow.
famous golfers?
Oh yeah, Jack Nicklaus.
Oh.
For a while, 30 years ago, you could send off in the mail to their home addresses and,
Yeah.
their agencies and stuff. And I would just sit there at night, no kids, I'd write letters, send off the mail, and 2 weeks later, 8x10s would come back or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
So it was a great hobby. It still is, but yeah, it's fun to collect stuff. The autographs has been my thing right now. I got Gray every time he comes in my office at the bank. He's
Yeah.
"Hey Gray, I got a buddy. I need this signed or this."
Yeah.
But we just ordered a bunch of Seahawks jerseys last week,
Nice.
so we got a ton coming in for Mark and Tana and myself, and everybody in the bank was, "Hey, I need 5, and we need so
Oh, yeah.
we did the bulk order.
Yep.
We were out in Rapid last week, and we went into was it Pro Image, I think, the sports store out there, looking for Seattle stuff. That guy's like, "Can I help you?" It's like, "Yeah." So I need a Seattle Seahawks cap. And he's like, "Can I ask you why?" I said, "I said, our friend just got drafted." And he goes, "You serious?" So I had the picture with Gray or whatever. It's like, "Yeah, Gray." I said, 18th pick. He just whips out his phone, gets on the phone with some
We need all
some
the hats.
dude way above him. He's like, "Hey, we should probably start getting some Seattle stuff in. The kid from Pierre just got drafted to the Seahawks. We need to probably get a few things coming this way." And it's like, "I appreciate it, because it's just not you just don't find Seahawks stuff out here."
No.
Sure.
But
Vikings, Broncos.
Vikings, Broncos, you could probably find some Packers stuff, but that's about the majority of it.
Chicago's got a pope
Kansas
now.
City, maybe.
Chicago does have a pope now.
Yep, Green Bay has 0 popes.
Fun fact of the day.
They got good beer and cheese though.
They do.
Spotted Cow.
Green Bay
I drink
has
Spotted
0
Cow.
popes.
I got it. I always have
Spotted
at least
Cow.
a couple cases at
Spotted
my house
Cow.
all the
Shout
time.
out to Spotted Cow.
Spotted
That is
Cow.
a
Delicious stuff.
I'm going to try and plug that name. Spotted Cow, Spotted Cow, Spotted Cow. God, I could.
Back when I
Grey Goose
drank,
Motors,
that was
Grey Goose
delicious.
Motors, Grey Goose
Oh,
Motors.
boy.
BakersMotors.com.
I got a question for you guys though, because you guys are all golfers, right?
Oh, yeah. What you got, buddy?
Here,
Allegedly.
Clark, you're a golfer, right?
Not near enough.
Well, you still golf. That works for me. Hold on, I gotta find the picture. so I can remember exactly what it said. All right. $600,000 right now, or 3 attempts to keep it on the green from 185 out on number 12 Augusta National for $10 million. What are you taking?
600,000.
600,000 just in your pocket, or you can take 3 attempts from 185 out on number 12 for $10 million.
I'm gonna let you guys answer this one.
Looks like I just
How many
made.
yards is it?
185.
So that's my driver.
Okay. You think you can stick it?
No.
Yeah, it looks like I just made $600,000. That's what that equates.
Are you? You're not like. I just feel like you got to take a chance. I mean, 600.
I'm really debating this one.
Like I would honestly.
'Cause, like, I know how hard the hole is, but like it's a good stock 7-iron, and I feel like I could spin it okay. Can I warm up beforehand?
Well, I don't know, Frosty. Can you take warm-up swings?
No warm up.
No
Everybody
warm.
knows the
You
rules.
know the
Everybody knows
rules.
No warm
You
up.
do know the rules.
No warm ups, unless it's for $10 million.
Okay.
I'm assuming you could get as many warm ups as you want.
Yeah, as many worms as you want, because I got one more.
I need a couple of swings, or I need 5 bush lights and
You can prepare however you need to prepare.
3 Marlboros.
So I got. Okay.
Menthol or red?
No,
Red.
just the lights.
Just the lights.
Light 100s.
All right, so I got one more. I got two questions left for you guys. Okay, same thing. We'll stick with the golf. 500,000 right now, or 2 attempts from 162 yards out on number 17 at TPC Sawgrass for $7.5 million.
What do you have to do it?
Just stick it on.
You just got to hit the green. You just got to leave it on the green.
How far out is it?
162.
162.
I feel like
At
I'd
sea
fuck
level.
with that one.
At sea level.
I feel like I would be so pumped up with it on 2 swings. I'm really worried because, like, I've either got a horse and 9 to get it all the way there, or I have to take a little off of an 8. And dude, that's tough because it's like a weird in between yardage, and it's like now we're at 2 shots instead.
Now
of
we're at
3
2 shots, and I've played this hole quite a few times on the
Not
simulator,
even Goldilocks could do it.
and it's a tough hole.
Yeah, it's a green.
It's a green. You just got to hit it. You just got to land it on that green and stay on there, not go in the water.
I feel like I'm gonna go for the big bucks.
Yeah, me too. But I do have a question. Now, my third question is, Clark, you're a huge sports guy. What would be your biggest what if for any athlete in the professional sports if you could pick their career to take a different path than what happened to them?
I mean, if they could have did something.
If they didn't get hurt, or if their injury,
let's say RG3 never blew out his knee.
Well, like Hank Gathers,
Oh.
when he went down on the floor.
Yep.
And then the guy that went to the Celtics.
Lenny Bias.
I mean, being a lifetime Celtics fan, Lenny Bias was going to be the man. I mean, that changes the whole direction of the Celtics because they're getting a dude, and that would have been, I think that would have been huge.
And if I remember right, he was the heir apparent to Larry Bird, right?
Yeah. But he was going to play with Larry.
Yeah. So he would have got that knowledge.
It would have been kind of like Dirk and Luka.
Yeah.
Dirk and Luka.
That is a good one.
Oh, there you go, Frosty. I had to bring up the trade.
Frosty, what is it for you? For the what if?
The biggest what if? Say, what if Deion Jordan got his fucking shit together instead of being on these PEDs all the time? Number 3 pick for the Dolphins in the 2013 draft. No, 06 draft. Yeah. Never played 2 games for the Dolphins.
Heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, actually. He was supposed to be a big thing. That's kind of mine for me, I guess.
You got one, Dave?
Oh, man, I'm just going to go with the easy one. Just Bo Jackson.
Dang it.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
He's over here waiting. He's like, I got Bo Jackson.
Oh, I got it the whole time. I got it locked in. You had to go to it.
Yeah.
I'll take somebody else.
No, you can take Bo.
No, I'll take.
You don't know Bo.
Josh Hamilton.
Ooh.
I'll take Josh Hamilton just because. I mean, we're talking number 1 overall draft pick, the greatest natural human being to ever hit a baseball. Puts up 28 home runs, still loses the home run derby, but everybody remembers his one round at old Yankee Stadium. I mean, if he had stayed through the Rays organization and not gotten to the point where he was literally 140 pounds because he was smoking crack.
Yeah, that tends to do that for you.
That's a rough one.
We're talking about a guy
The
who,
opposite sports enhancement drug.
Now here's a guy
the opposite.
that can smoke some crack.
And then he turned it around. He got in trouble because he was supposed to be in his sobriety, and then he was out in Surprise, Arizona. Got caught at a bar doing body shots off of one of the bartenders.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
You'll have that on the bigger jobs.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us. No, but he came back, and deal that was posted, the Rangers are through 35 games this season. In 2010, Josh Hamilton was hitting .414 and had 17 home runs through this many games that season. Or it was 2015, actually. So, Josh Hamilton, we'll leave you. Bo knows.
Obviously Bo, but I just seen something that I thought might be a bigger one than Bo. What if the Boston Red Sox did not trade Babe Ruth?
Oh, it wouldn't be...
The curse would have...
You know?
It wouldn't make you instantly hateable if you're a Yankees fan.
Fuck the Yankees. But I'm just thinking, like, you know, because now I get to hear about all these goddamn Yankee fans going, "Ooh, we got 27-year-old tires." Well, Jesus, none of us were alive for 25 of them, or maybe Clark might have been, but
See, that's all lying.
he got Babe Ruth's autograph.
Yeah.
Look, man, not being alive or being old enough to remember world championships doesn't take away those world championships, spoken by a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, but
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but you don't hear a lot of kids going around, "Hey, my favorite team's Chicago Bulls because Michael Jordan had 2 3-peats."
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're Golden State Warriors fans.
Well, at least they're not LeBron fans.
Some of them. Some of them.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody loves LeBron.
Clark, what do you think about LeBron?
You know, other than he's just a little bitch. I mean, he just can't. You know, he's a great player. He's done great things for the league, and you know, he's started a school. He's done a lot of really good stuff that he doesn't get credit for. But there's no way his kid should be in the NBA.
No.
I mean, and that was all. My big question was this: if the draft wasn't fixed, tell me it's not fixed when every team that could have picked him before he came. When did he get drafted? I don't even know.
Oh, he was
3rd round, 4th round. What? I mean, I don't even know.
Hold on.
Second round, because they only do 2 rounds
Okay.
for the NBA. But he was the second round. I think he was like the 28th pick. Dallas was drafting shortly after that, and I was really hoping that Dallas was just going to waste that second round pick on getting Bronny, because I thought it gave a chance to sign LeBron in free agency. And I think LA with that pick.
With pick 55.
I mean, so 54 times before that, those people know if we pick Bronny, LeBron is going to come play with him wherever, because he was a free agent.
Yeah.
You know, so at 32, somebody's not going to just say, "Shit, let's blow a pick here and have a chance of bringing LeBron in the house." That's it. Why wouldn't you have?
Exactly.
You get one of the greatest players of all times, and he's coming with his son, but he wants to play with him. That means more to him than a championship at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He's got championships.
And they didn't pick him. So now he shouldn't have been picked at all, but with the fact that they're going to bring your dad with you, I don't know.
Yeah,
That is true.
Yeah.
100%.
So
And
you think about that 54 picks. They had to be doing some kind of research that it wasn't worth even getting LeBron by getting this pick.
They have agonized over that stuff for days, man. The analysis that they put into each of those picks
Yeah.
and some of that stuff.
Kind of like
I think they would anyway.
kind of like how the Catholic Church picked the Pope faster than Shadir Sanders got drafted.
oh my God.
Did you see the white smoke, and then they showed Snoop Dogg in a robe blowing up the chimney?
Oh, shizzle. It's like, we got a new Pope Izzle, baby.
No, sorry.
Oh my God.
The Pope's a D-O-double-G.
God, it goes from we go from getting grounded for playing Snoop Dogg songs or having them downloaded like on the old iPods or like the old Microsoft Zune. One of my favorites. You get grounded for having Snoop Dogg, and now that son of a bitch is the head of like the Olympic broadcast.
Yeah.
Dude,
And his
it's
best
very
friend is
strange.
Martha Stewart.
I don't know
Music
what
and
fucking
Addicted Felon.
timeline we're living in right now, but it's a weird one.
Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg are best friends,
Yeah.
and Snoop Dogg's not the convicted felon.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg's.
Well, our president's a convicted felon.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, well, where are we at? You know.
Yeah.
Well, just living it.
We are in the age of discussion and questioning.
We're not talking politics, though, right?
No.
No, yeah, you're right.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well,
Vagina.
Volga.
Volga.
it's Volga.
It's Volga.
My bad.
In the
Volga.
It's in the Brookings region.
Near the labium and Volga.
This is great.
I've heard
Like,
there's a mythical creature that lives around there. It's called the clitoris.
how many? So
That's not real.
It's not
how many
real.
jerseys do you know that you got hanging on the wall here?
I've never counted.
Well,
What? Okay.
if somebody listens to Fundayz Sports and they come in to the Blue Goose and they count every jersey that's in here, I will buy them a drink
On Thursday night, Busch Light night.
on Thursday
There
night
you
Busch
go.
Light night.
You know, the oddities that people do not catch. You guys, you've looked at the jerseys,
Yep.
but if you really, really dig in, you know, you did see the orthopedic leg over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a fake leg hanging over here.
And a fake leg.
Like what gambling?
Focus
match
up
is
to
it?
the far right corner, and you see a Ken doll hanging with his leg sticking out up in the far corner.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Alan?
Oh God. Yep.
There's more mystery hidden items such as that
Okay.
people don't notice.
Those are the best
Just
ones.
Yeah.
random stuff that you got hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
To be fair, Clark, this might be the first time that I'm gonna come into your building sober and leave your building sober. So,
That's our goal.
like, I mean, so sometimes I might even look at a jersey and don't remember seeing that jersey. So,
That's what keeps the lights on and the air conditioning going.
Okay, so back to your autograph deal. What you said you got some of the most famous ones there. What's your most obscure autograph?
I had my parents sign a baseball for me
Really?
before they passed away.
Oh, okay, that's pretty awesome.
And it just, because I was always, and I thought, you know, what's more important than your parents' autograph?
Exactly.
And I really cherish that. I had one thing. My dad went to Northern in the early '50s,
Yep.
and he ran track. Sorry about my cough here. He ran track and he played tennis, and he came from Corona, which is like Agar.
Yep.
They didn't have high school football. He got to Northern, and so he goes out for the football team.
cut around me.
And
on the stage.
he goes out for the football team, and so we're at this bar that used to be in the old Ramada up, and they tore it down, but they had a sports bar, and we're there partying one night or whatever, you know, and I'm looking at all these old northern photos on the wall, and here they're up at Swisher Field, the old Swisher Field, and they're running out onto the field, and they're all in their uniforms with their leather helmets and stuff on, and my dad's in the front row of this picture.
Did you get the picture?
I did, and I got 2 of them signed by him.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
But he always told us I never played. Well, he played, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
You know, and he was kind of embarrassed of the fact that he wasn't a player.
It wasn't a starter, basically.
Yeah, or just didn't play. I
Yeah.
mean, he was on the team, but he was, you know, there was some All-Americans, Jim Kretschmann, and some of these guys that were just
above and
outstanding
beyond, yeah.
football players. But to have that photo, and you walk into the new football facility, Dakota Bank Stadium in Aberdeen, and there's a wall with that photo on the full wall is that team running out on, you know, they got over the year photos.
Yep.
And it's like wallpaper, and here it is. My dad's in the front row.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Man, but you got to think, like, them boys were tough.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there was no CTE back then.
no, I mean, you can go back in the back there, and it pays homage to when the CTE started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, buddy.
No, so I have some weird stuff. You know, I got a lot of baseballs signed by just. I always take a baseball with me wherever I was traveling.
I was gonna say, when you said the Bill Clinton thing, I was like, did you just have a baseball on
I
you at
did,
the time?
because I just like anybody can sign it.
Yeah, very
you know,
true.
They display well. They look cool. You know.
Very true. Very true.
Not super consuming of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife went through my closet one time and put them all in a big Rubbermaid. She said, "You got 370 signed baseballs in there."
That's awesome.
I don't even know what half of them are, but I have astronauts. I have Jay Leno. I even had Christian Leitner sign a Duke football helmet for me.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
He's like, "That's kind of weird." And I said, "Yeah, but."
Yeah,
He goes, "But can you get me one? Because I'd like to have one too." But the helmet guy, the Rydell guy, and that does all the helmets for most of the schools in the state. He's a good buddy of mine. He's like, "I want a Duke helmet signed by Leitner." I said, "Well, I'll get it if you send me one for me too." So there's 2 of them out there. I asked him, "How many have been signed?"
It's
2.
There's 2.
So that's a rarity. I have a baseball with Shaq and George Mikan signed on it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at a Lakers game in Minneapolis, and Mikan was sitting there.
And you had a fucking baseball.
And I brought a baseball, and Mikan signs it. And then we knew a guy that worked for the T-Wolves, and I said, "Is there any way you'll see Shaq?" And he goes, "Yeah, we'll have to wait till they get out of there."
Yeah.
And Shaq came walking, and the guy said, "Hey, my buddy just got George Mikan on this. Would you sign the ball too?" And Shaq looked at it, and he goes, "That's really cool." He signed it too.
Oh,
Hell
my
yeah.
God.
That's got to be a one in the world.
Well, yeah.
One of one.
For one,
One of one.
It sticks out for one because nobody brings a baseball to a basketball
No.
game, so that makes it even
It's
better.
like bringing a stick to a gunfight, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's awesome, though.
Oh, man. Well, boys, we've had a great episode. I feel like we could keep talking about it endlessly, but this is the end of our time slot. On Fundayzsports.com, we've still got some merchandise. Want to thank Clark very, very much for hosting us here at the
thank you.
Blue Goose Sports Pub
Sports Pub.
in Onida, South Dakota, in the brand new location in Volga, South Dakota
Dakota.
as well.
Maybe we're going to have to ranch over there for a Sunday.
Oh boy, let's do a Saturday. and then we can wake up feeling like shit on Sunday.
Or we're finishing our Airbnb upstairs, so anybody that's going to be looking for places to stay in the Brookings area, there's hardly any Airbnbs.
Yeah, sounds like a golf trip coming up.
3-bedroom upstairs that we're going to finish off probably in the next couple weeks, and party downstairs, climb up, and go to bed. So
Doesn't get better than that.
that's going to be a great addition too. So
Hell yeah.
Big Fish?
Hey, it's a good day. It's a good day at the Blue Goose.
God, it's always a great day at the Blue Goose. It's always a fun day at the Blue Goose.
Yes.
Fun day.
Remember, support your local businesses.
Make sure you do. They're the people with the best stories. They're gonna put the most effort into it. Yeah, don't be a Walmart person.
Yeah, Clark's leaving a legacy here with this bar, as long as it stays standing.
well, I tell my kids, if I die, which I'm going to, but if I die suddenly, keep it going. It's kind of a local. People say this. We just love coming here. It's a local hangout. We're the only bar in town now, so
Yeah.
Very true.
hopefully we can do it for many years to come. And I promise to update the seats when affordable. Yeah.
When affordable.
So yeah, if you're ever in Onida, come down to the Blue Goose, take in some history and take in some drinks.
6 days a week. When are you open?
4 to question mark.
4 to question mark, fellas.
Perfect time, right?
You heard it
And you
here.
are the ones that decide the question mark.
4 till you quit drinking is our motto. So
Doesn't
we
get
got
better
lots of
than
merch
that.
in too. We got some new hats. We got some new T-shirts coming in the next couple weeks, and so yeah, we're always adding different stuff. Get the word out. So
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Love it. Well,
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks for having us. This has been Fundayz Sports episode 9. Shout out to Alan Fisher for doing his first intro.
Yeah.
Proud of you, buddy. We'll keep working on it.
Yeah.
Fucking Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
All right, we're done.
See ya.
Bye.